Hey everybody, Kansas Drone Gunner here. Hey, this is chapter 3 of the 308 Winchester project. If you'd like to see how I do initial sight in and barrel break in, then stay tuned. So today we're starting the break-in process and initial sight in of the 308 Winchester that we've been talking about. So again, this is just going to be video number 2, day 1 at the range, and we're basically going to at least kind of do a quick little overview of what it takes to kind of just get the ball rolling. To me it's the worst part of any process relating to a new rifle, and getting to where you actually get out and start to consistently have fun with it. But there's mixed reviews as to whether or not it's really necessary to go through the steps that I'm gonna go through. But that's up to you and your judgment, and maybe your barrel and rifle manufacturer's recommendations. But this is the process that I use. So anyway, I hope you learned something from it. And it's a beautiful day. It's literally like 81 degrees here in Kansas City, and very little wind. And so really it's the best day probably since early spring. So anyway, we'll see you guys at the range. Thanks for following along. It's going to be a fun journey, I hope. Hey everybody, I'm over here on the 50-yard range now. Just got sighted in on the 25, and I of course took one shot, and now I've got to go through the cleaning process. So for me, that is I'll run some wet patches followed by a nylon brush, then wet patches, and then let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then run dry patches until it's dry. And literally, it's probably going to be about 12 to 15 patches per shot. So the way that this goes is I'll shoot a shot, clean it, shoot a shot, clean it, shoot a shot, clean it. About, different people say different things, but I do 5, and then I'll stretch it out to 3 shots, and I'll do that a couple of times. Then I'll stretch it out to 5, and so on, and then eventually I hope to get to 20. And then I'll, gradually work my way up from there. So anyway, I'm not going to show you that process necessarily in depth, but you'll get the idea. All right, here we go. Patch number 1. Just to give you an idea, that's how dirty it is after 1 shot, because the barrel hasn't been broke in yet. Okay, so here's another example. You'll see the blue tint color. That's the copper fouling from the bullet. So that's part of the break-in process too. You get a lot of that. See, it's a little less this time. Okay, a little bit better. Now it's brush time. So I don't know if this is any kind of a rule or not, but for me, what I do is for each caliber, so like in this case it's a 30, I'll run the wet brush through it 30 times. Again, nylon brush, you don't want to use anything other. And ideally, this is a Vortex Jag, so I prefer using those because it doesn't leave false readings on your valve. So again, you'll see a lot of blue, kind of greenish tint. That's the copper. So the stuff that I use is called Vortex Eliminator. You don't hardly see any gunpowder residue, carbon. Now it's just green. Okay, kind of same. So I went back with the 4 wet patches, so that's what I'm left with now. So I'm going to give it about 5 minutes, and then I'll run dry ones through. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and run the dry patches. We'll kind of show you the progression here. There's the next to last, and then the last one, getting clean. Okay, so there's the last one. I'm going to call that good. Tiny little bit of fouling on it, but all in all good. I like to run a bore mop on the center of my bore. Alright, that's it. Cleaning number 1. Now I got to do that 4 more times after each shot. Alright, we're on shot number 2. Of course, this is the first one over on this side of the range. We'll see where we're at on paper here. Oh, saw it. Okay. So at 50, so what I got to do is I got to bring that one down. We're on paper at 50, so and I think I've got it pretty well adjusted. So I'm going to clean it again, and my next shot will be out to 100. So we'll see you there. All right, here we are, shot number 3. Just cleaned it for the second time, and here we go. Continue the process. Okay, see that one? So we should be getting sighted in here pretty soon. All right, here we are. I'm going to shoot 3 this time. We're pretty well on the 0 at this point, so it took 4 shots total. Sometimes I'll go 5 shots clean after each one, but I went 4, kind of speeding it up a little bit, I guess, but I'll do 3 and then 3 again, and then I'm heading out. So. That one is a little less, but they're all right in there, pretty close to the same spot. So that's 3, so we're going to clean it again, and then 3 more before I head out and go back home. It's a little bit of a process, as I mentioned. Not my favorite either, if I'm being honest. You're right that time. I did adjust the scope a little bit because I thought maybe I was left, but really turns out I wasn't. I should have left it, but I'm not too worried about it. Oh, that was right on the pole. I'll show you the picture of that one. So anyway, that's the end of it. And so when we get back to the shop, I'll show you some other stuff as far as the barrel and that. But so that's it for today. Okay, everybody, the shooting is over. Back at the shop now, and just doing a little bit of review. So the picture here is of the target that I shot at. Now, the first 2 shots aren't included because the first one, if you remember, is at 25 yards. And the second shot is at 50 yards, just to get on paper. But after that, you can kind of see how shot through 3 through 10 went just regarding the sight-in process. So okay, next we're going to get into a video that I took of the inside of the barrel after I got home and getting ready to clean the gun. But you can see how dirty it is. And again, this is after 20 shots because I've gone back out to the range a little bit more to do some more break-in. It's a pretty tedious and extensive process, as I've kind of described. But in the meantime, let's take a look at 20 shots through. This is 1 box of factory ammo. You can see the carbon buildup, all the little flaky white areas, pretty much carbon. And then, of course, you can see the copper. The copper is scraped off of the bullet as it travels through the barrel. And a lot of that, as you can see, is pretty well defined. So next we're going to go into the post-cleaning and see what the barrel looks like after it's been cleaned. There's a pretty strike difference. So here's the barrel cleaned, and obviously you can see pretty defined rifling. You see a lot less. I mean, there might be a few speckles of carbon here and there, but for the most part it's pretty clean. You might see a little bit of cotton, from the actual patches that were pushed through. But generally speaking, this is a very clean barrel, and whatever's left, you can clearly define the rifling. So anyway, just thought that was good for a pretty good experiment to show. Okay, so that's it for the break-in process. Although I'm going to continue doing it on my own, I'm just not going to video it. And the next phase of this project is going to be load development. And so we'll start with that and move on down the road, hopefully eventually hitting the 1,000-yard mark with a 308, which will be kind of tough, but we'll try to get there. So thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll see you back in the laboratory to start making some rounds.